Hello and welcome to the Untitled YouTube channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the new iPhone SE second generation, which is the 2020 version. This video is currently being recorded on the old iPhone SE, which is what I've had since they came out, and it's dying, so I have the new one. It's the black 256GB model and it was £569 here in the UK. I have already opened this for the purposes of just charging it a little bit when I got it, but I put it back in the box and I'm going to sort of unbox it as if new, but obviously you'll see that some things are not. But let's just start by taking the top off. And obviously we've got all the usual stuff. So in here, I'm assuming there's some stickers, yeah, and just sort of a card with some guides. The box is empty, nothing else in there. The little SIM card pressy thing, and again another sort of like little instruction leaflet. Two of the Apple stickers, which always end up getting thrown away, sorry. And here is the phone itself. So I have not looked too much into it. I've looked into the specs, you know, the camera, the processor, all that sort of stuff, and I was really happy with that for the price I was paying. But one thing I didn't realise, which is cool, is there is no button, but there is something that looks like a button. You can see me in the reflection a little bit there, but it's just like a pad. It's not actually a button. You don't actually press it down, but it still sort of recognises like the thumbprint and acts as a button, and it even has like a little vibrate when you press it. If we just slowly turn it over so you can sort of see, you've got like the volume buttons as normal. You've got the button to like change like the silent and vibrate. There's the back of it, which again you can see me in the reflection of. My iPhone that I'm using, if I just check it, I believe, yeah, it's the space grey version, I think, of the old iPhone SE. Obviously that's not available, so here is the black version. You can get a red version. Some of the money goes to charities that support fighting AIDS, and you can also just get a standard white version. I just went for the black version because it's what I wanted in terms of like the look of the phone. Further to that, so we've got the rest of the box here. Got just the standard Apple charging plug. Got the earphones. These used to come in a nice plastic box, so it's a little bit disappointing to see it in the cardboard, but I guess it doesn't actually make any difference. And it's probably more environmentally friendly this way actually, so hey. But I've never had these earphones before where you plug it into the charging adapter. I'm so used to having an aux cable one, and I know that I can get an adapter to plug it into anything that needs aux cables, but of course the new phone doesn't have the aux slot, it is just the charging slot. So and also you can get the adapters, so you can do like the aux and charging at the same time. I mean, I will put links in the description to any sort of product that I mention, just in case you're thinking of buying the phone and you're unsure about a couple of things, or you want some certain things. And then obviously it's just the charging cable. So what I'm going to do with the phone is I'm going to get it all set up. I haven't actually done that yet. I've just taken it out of the box, but then and charged it. But then what I'll do is probably kind of do a little bit of an update, what I feel, how the phone feels to use, how it compares to the old SE. I can't imagine anyone is buying the old SE these days, but just in case someone is looking at all of their options, like how it compares, or just out of interest. One thing that I've also got is a case. Always get a case. I see people with cracked iPhones, and 9 times out of 10 they haven't got a case. So you've got, it's like sort of hard back but rubbery sides, and it like goes over on like both on the back. You kind of see the ridge there on the back, like the black there, and on the sides it also goes over where the phone fits in. So if you drop it on its front, it's the case that's going to hit the ground, as opposed to the phone screen. And again, with the back, you don't want the back cracking or smashing, so again, it's going to hit the case first. So, I don't know, with the protective gear, whether it will fit in at the moment. And when I say protective gear, I just mean the little kind of slips that you pull off, but we're going to just slot that in. And there we go, so it fits in really nicely, goes with the colour scheme really well. Obviously you've got the see-through back, so you can see the Apple logo, and the like camera isn't covered, and obviously just any other details. You've got as you'd expect, the normal sort of buttons and whatever that you can use. But the case actually feels really good. Like, it doesn't make the phone too bulky, but you do feel like you've got, that support if you are to drop it. So again, I mean, it's a G-Tech case. It was £10. I'll leave a link in the description for that in case you want it. It was like sort of the best, not necessarily the best rated one on there, but the best rated in terms of consistency in its ratings. So there we go. But yeah, that's the end of this part. I'll be back later on with my thoughts and feelings on it after using it for a few hours. Okay, and now for the debrief. So what I kind of didn't mention in the start of the video is that I did look up this phone, I looked up all the specs and stuff, but I didn't look too much into the model of it, like how it looked, what it sort of does, that kind of thing. I just kind of got it for the price point because it was quite cheap. So what's quite interesting, if you haven't had this phone before and you are thinking of getting it, the button, which you can see here, which I'm just reflecting the light onto, it's not really a button at all. It does sort of click down and you can just open the phone, but it's not a button, and you can choose how the click down feels when you set the phone up. So that's pretty interesting, pretty different. Now, I've been using the phone all day. I charged it to full and took it off around 1:30. You can see it's just past 6 o'clock, so that's about 4.5 hours, and we are down to 16% battery from 100%. Because when I was looking at this on the website, it does say that you get 13 hours, you can literally do 13 hours of watching videos off a 100% charge. 13 hours is a long time to be watching videos, but obviously in the the small print, it said that depends on the type of network and everything like that. I knew that when I got it, and I wasn't necessarily expecting 13 hours of video time. I knew it would be less, but you're looking at sort of 4.5 hours here, where I've been listening to a couple of podcasts, been listening to a bit of music, messaging people on WhatsApp, Snapchat stuff. So, I've been heavily using it. It's been unlocked most of the time, so it's not been closed off. So I'm not suggesting that if I hadn't been more busy, that it wouldn't have been on a standby screen and not used, and wouldn't still have loads more battery. But the 13 hours of battery they claim definitely isn't correct. I mean, my Wi-Fi is very poor. I don't have fibre in my area, so it could be that it's having to work twice as hard to get everything working, and that's why. So it's not necessarily a criticism of Apple, but just when you're looking at any sort of phone and the specs and stuff, just don't necessarily always believe what you hear. So that's that. Now, in terms of the earphones, I haven't used them, but I know that they are just standard. So whilst I've never used them when you plug them into the charging port, they are going to be just as good as any sort of earphones. Other than that, it's fairly the same as the old SE. I mean, the lock button is on the side rather than the top, but other than that, there's not really anything to comment on. I showed before the case, so when I showed that, the phone hadn't had its wrappings taken off, so I'm just going to pop it in there just to show you kind of what that looks like. And there we go. So, you wouldn't really know at a quick glance there's a case on it, but it does go over the front of the screen. So if you drop it on the front, it's fine. On the back, you can sort of just see, and again, you can see me in it as you could earlier. But yeah, it's actually quite good as a little mirror, but it's just see-through. So definitely recommend getting a case. So many people smash their phones and it's just pointless. Just get a good case. This was £10 from Amazon. It's not the only one that was on there, but I will link it in the description, and I'll link a few other things that I spoke about earlier, as I mentioned, so definitely check that out. Just in terms of quality for say watching videos, recording videos, that kind of thing, I'm not massively techie with that. I probably couldn't tell the difference in my eyes between a 1080p video and a 4K video, but definitely it's decent. I have no problem. This is actually being recorded off the old iPhone SE, so my old phone, and to me that quality is good enough. So anything better, it's great, but it doesn't really impact me. The setup of the phone was pretty easy. I just connected the two together, sort of, I think it's through Bluetooth, and it transferred literally everything onto the phone. It took about an hour, so that was pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, on first impressions, it's a decent phone. It does, cost a lot of money, and the specs aren't necessarily as good as what it says on the advert when you're buying it. But I knew that to be the case, so that's not a problem. Just gonna scroll through a few screens on here, and I was actually gonna show just like this is just a game. It was from the just gonna turn that down. It was from the App Store a while ago that I had on my old phone, but it's downloaded onto this one, so I sort of want to show it in use, but we'll actually turn it all the way up again. Just to demonstrate the sound quality. Now obviously it might be a bit muffled through the phone I'm recording on, but I can say it's pretty good. But if we sort of look, I mean, it's definitely like sufficient to like play simple games and stuff. I'm sure you could play much more sort of challenging games, but actually this game it's quite a big game file. I think it's sort of like over like 500 megabytes, so it's something that actually took quite a while to like download onto the phone, and it runs just fine. It ran fine on the old phone, but it does look like more crisp and just better on this phone, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that is the iPhone SE. I'm not sure if I have missed anything, but basically on first impressions, pretty good. I would recommend getting one if you're gonna use a phone heavily. Now in terms of the channel, I might be doing some more videos, or will be doing some more videos on the iPhone SE, maybe some comparisons with the old SE and just some like tests and stuff, so definitely subscribe for more. If you could also like the video and comment on it, that would be appreciated, and I will see you in the next one.